政治，民聲起義。MyRadio 2015。
Welcome to the first episode of Le Quart de Français.
Good pronunciation.
Did I get it right?
Yeah, you got it right. Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much, Maxi.
De rien.
So, I guess everybody can see that we have a very handsome guy around. So, could you introduce yourself to the audience?
Sure. So, my name is Alexandre, just like Alexander. It ends with D-R-E. So basically, I'm French. I was born in Nice, as some of you may know. It's a city in the south of France. It's very sunny. There's a beach over there. Very good food, sunshine all day, all year long. So, and I've been living here for 5 years, working on Hong Kong Island, and I pretty much like Hong Kong so far. So, hoping to stay a bit longer. And
Sure. Since you said that you are a French guy,
yes.
Would you mind to say a few greetings to our audience in French?
Yeah, sure. So, whenever you want to meet people for the first time during the day, you need to say bonjour.
For the daytime.
The daytime, yeah. If you want to say good night, or you say hi to someone during the evening, you need to say bonsoir. Yeah. So bonjour, bonsoir. Jour means day, soir means night. That's why. And bon means good, so good day, good night.
Okay,
much, yeah.
So every time you meet a French guy, you just say bonjour.
Yeah,
okay.
So actually, usually with friends, what we say, instead of being too formal, we say salut. So,
salut. Yeah.
It's like the salute, I think, in Italian or Spanish. So this is more more friendly, and this is what you would say usually to your friends.
Yeah. But actually, I have to confess a few things. I do not actually know the meaning of the title of this program.
Yeah, Le Quart de Français. So I think this one...
I'm worried that even for audience, they don't have any idea about these French words.
Le Quart de Français. So the first one means the quarter in terms of the timing. So it's the 15 minutes. And Français means French. So heure is hour, so 15 minutes break.
Okay. I guess in English translation, it is a quarter of an hour in French.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. The 15-minute break, talking about French things. Yeah.
So actually, it is only a break, and then you have to enjoy this break, even if some of you don't speak French.
Yeah, that's the spirit. Yeah. Just share some French culture, French words. Yeah.
And what about yourself? Tell us about your background and what are you doing here?
Yeah, so I'm one of the bad guys. I work in finance, but I try to be good nonetheless. So I came here when I was 22. Now I'm 27. Yeah, soon to be 28. I've been working here 5 years, and before that I was studying in Paris in a business school, and then before that I was in London. In the UK, studying my bachelor in economics and social policy. So that was for 3 years, and before that I was in Paris again, and before that I was in Nice. That was the beginning of my life. It's basically from 0 to 8 years old I was in Nice, and I have really good memories of these years. The food, the weather, and so on.
And of course.
And wine. The wine, yeah. I like wine actually. My favorite wine would be white. The red one, as you may know, is very strong. So when you drink it, especially Asians, it's harder for them to digest the wine. So you get red, isn't it?
Yeah. And tell you one thing. One of the reasons why I invite you to do this program is that I would like you to teach me about French wine in the future.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. There's a lot to learn actually. There's even specialty courses, œnologue. And
what did you say?
Œnologue is quite hard to spell actually. It's O-E-N, etc. But it's the course where you learn how to taste the wine, how to properly pour the wine.
Oh, okay.
And it takes a few years to master, and even then, after you need to practice, and it's an art basically. It's not just it's a way of life. life and an art.
Yeah, tell you what.
Yeah.
Actually, you can make a living by doing that.
You can. I have a lot of friends who do this, especially in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
A lot of Hong Kongers and actually Chinese like to drink wine. There's a lot of demand for it. Yeah.
Okay. So another thing that I have to tell you is that I've never been to Paris before.
Oh, okay.
I've been to Frankfurt, Berlin, Budapest.
Okay.
And some other European cities, but I've never been to Paris.
How come?
No
time?
No money.
Yeah, these days it's very expensive. Very expensive to go there.
So the first thing you have to tell our audience is, what about Paris? What is Paris? How is Paris doing right now?
Okay, Paris. The people, they see.
Should I say it is still a dream city?
In some sense, it is. It basically depends who you go with, where you go, what time of the year you go. People, they always have this view that Paris is a romantic city. It is in many aspects. It's beautiful in terms of architecture. You have the Louvre, the museum with the Da Vinci
Code.
Da Vinci Code, yeah. Mona Lisa, the woman who always stare at you.
Yeah.
Basically, whenever you go to Paris as a foreigner, you need to be accompanied by a good friend, not just a guide. You need to have a good friend who knows the ins and outs, the good restaurants, the good places to go. It can be a bit dangerous sometimes, especially recently. We had some events, terrorist attacks and so on. But if you go in summer, a lot of the Parisians, they leave to go to the beach in the south, or maybe to the mountain to ski. Maybe not in summer, but it empties out the whole of Paris, and it becomes much more enjoyable. There's less pollution. Something which is really enjoyable is when you go cycling in Paris. We have those bicycles everywhere. You can just rent them for the day, and then you cycle across Paris. It's quite magical. So I really recommend you go. Next time you go, you tell me, I'll be your guide.
Oh, sure. We shall do this program in Paris sometime in the future.
Of course.
But what about shopping?
Okay. Do you like Hermes bag? Or
No.
Okay.
I'm fed up with all this.
Okay.
I don't like to go to Canton Road anymore.
Okay. No more. Okay. There's basically shopping for everyone. If you like to shop for food, there's some very good places. We have something called pâtisserie. It's basically like your Maxims, in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
You shop at you buy the cakes, right? But these in France is very cheap. You can buy the baguette, you can buy the croissant.
What is baguette?
Baguette is a long bread that all the French people eat for lunch, breakfast, dinner. They eat it in so many different ways. So whenever you go to these pâtisseries, these shops like Maxim, you can buy the baguettes, the croissant. So the croissant is the plain, you know what it is, right? It's
Sure.
the plain thing.
牛角包.
Exactly, this one.
Yeah.
You have the pain au chocolat, which is similar to the croissant, but there's a bit of chocolate in there. It's delicious. And basically, all these things you can buy so cheap because it's never meant to be something expensive. In Hong Kong, it is, but in France, it's really cheap.
But one thing that I don't know is that why all these French words so difficult, even for so simple thing for bread.
Yeah. There's a lot of R. The way we pronounce the R is completely different than English, for example. So
how do you do it?
Okay, let's say croissant. It's croissant. So we pronounce croissant.
Croissant.
Yeah, actually you do it quite well. So
the way that when you do brushing and then you try to gurgle.
Think of it like you spit after brushing your teeth. Yeah. So croissant. I think this would be the main difficulty with the French language, how to do the R, because otherwise it's fairly simple. The roots of French is Latin, so it shares similarities with Spanish, Italian, a bit of German. So yeah. It's fairly simple if you live in Europe. Obviously, for Chinese, it's not.
Oh, never mind. They all come from a single family, Indo-European.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What about French food cuisine?
French cuisine. So we call it gastronomie.
Gastronomy.
Again, R, gastronomie.
Why are all these French words so difficult, so long?
I know. It's really long. But okay, so gastronomy is basically the whole cuisine, the art of cooking, the art of eating. because it's not just about cooking, it's also the way you eat. You know, typically in France, when we have breakfast or lunch or dinner, it doesn't last 20 minutes. It lasts 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. On the weekend with your family, it's a bit like yamcha. We have the really big gathering with the family, and then we take maybe 3 hours to eat. It starts around maybe 1 p.m. and finishes at 3, 4. And during that time, we will have the appetizer, we have some drinks, maybe wine, then we have maybe 1 or 2 main course, and then desserts, cheese. Cheese is very important in French culture. We need it every time. Well, not for breakfast, but we need it for lunch and dinner.
Remember to bring some of the cheese.
Yes, definitely. But do you dare to eat the smelly cheese? That's my question.
No problem.
No problem? Okay. No problem.
Yeah. What about Paris right now? You just say that, well, I guess most of the people in Hong Kong read about the news of the attack. So what do you feel about Paris right now at this moment?
I think Paris, it's very multicultural. There's a lot of immigration from North Africa because historically, Algeria was a French colony. So there's a lot of immigration back in the 1980s, 1970s, 1990s, and I think nowadays we haven't done the job of integrating all these minorities within the French culture. You know, for example, the military service doesn't exist anymore in France. It's not.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's really on a voluntary basis. You do a career in military. So at the time before, the military service had the advantage of making everyone come together regardless of social class, regardless of income, and that had the advantage of making everyone stick together, you know. Nowadays we don't have it, so people, they feel left out. There's a lot more communitarism, segregation between different people. And I wouldn't say segregation, but a lot of communities which don't want to mix together. So I think the government has a lot of work to do regarding this. But when you go in the center of Paris, it's quite okay. There's a lot of tourists. I mean, I think France is one of the main tourist destinations in the world.
Sure.
At the moment, people really reacted strongly against these attacks, and security has been put up. There's a lot more security now, and people want to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Okay.
So I hope it doesn't happen again.
And what about how do you feel about Hong Kong?
Hong Kong. Okay, Hong Kong is it's also a very diverse community. I think in Hong Kong there's about 30,000 French people. It could be more than that actually. British are here historically. Americans. We have Filipino, Indonesian. So I think there's a lot of mix of culture in Hong Kong. The only problem, I think, if I have to compare Paris and Hong Kong, is mostly one of the issues I have is that Hong Kong is not as culturally diverse and active, in terms of drama, plays, concerts, and so on.
Well,
it's a bit of a
cultural desert.
Cultural desert, yeah. It's improving though, every year. And actually, this month there's the French May.
Yeah, so you have to talk about French May.
Yeah. So, for example, during the whole month, there's about 8 movies, I think French movies, who are being screened across Hong Kong.
We should talk about French movies in the next few episodes. But how do you feel about Hong Kong girls? Hong Kong women.
Hong Kong girls. Well, I think Hong Kong girls. Okay, they have a reputation, some of them, of being quite difficult.
Bitchy.
I guess there's how to say.
Do you have the French word for that?
Actually, French girls are pretty similar sometimes. They can be very, very tough.
Okay.
I think it's the same everywhere.
Yeah.
Hong Kong girls are no different than any other country. But yeah, obviously, if you go to Lan Kwai Fong and these areas, you will find a specific type of people.
Yeah. But tell me about the secrets of how do you French guys flirt with these women. You are always so successful. I guess if you go to Lan Kwai Fong, and then everybody will come after you.
Well, I've stopped this in my life. Maybe I'm too old for this.
Oh,
now.
you admit that?
Yeah, I admit that. However, I do know that a lot of French people, so they just come here for a few years in Hong Kong. They probably have an expat job or internship, and what they want to do is maybe enjoy the life, go to bars, clubs, restaurants, and usually they will hang out in Central or Soho, Shenyang. And if they want to flirt, usually the way that the girls see the expats here or the foreigners, the Western people, they see them positively. Usually maybe they think they're successful, they're rich, they're handsome. I guess they have something for white guys. So. I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's a fact that a lot of Hong Kong girls they will prefer Western guys over Hong Kong guys. I don't know actually why. Maybe I should ask some Hong Kong guys.
Do some experiment.
Yes, definitely.
But why are the French guys always so romantic? Is it in your DNA or what?
I think okay, so obviously not everyone is romantic in France, but I think we do have a sense of how to put the mood, you know. So maybe candlelight dinner, you offer some roses, some bouquet of flower. You make sure the person has a good time, relaxing. It's always about how to be smooth, you know. So. Yeah, it's about the ambience, the mood, which I guess might be a bit challenging in Hong Kong because maybe the environment is too stressful. You know, you have the pollution, the traffic. It's crowded also. But when you go to Paris, you want to take a girl out to a nice restaurant. The environment can be really enjoyable next to the Seine, you know, the river. So we call it La Seine. And then you have these restaurants overlooking La Seine, and then you can see all the people passing by. The setting is really good, and the good thing also that we don't have in Hong Kong is that because Paris is in a higher latitude on Earth, in summer the sun sets quite late, maybe 10 p.m., 9:30. But in Hong Kong, it's always the same most of the time, right? So you can have a really enjoyable dinner, and it's still, when you finish, it's still daylight, you know. So you don't feel entirely at the dark.
Yeah. Anyway, I think speaking in French will help a lot.
Yeah, or with a French accent, which I can do, you know. I will speak like this. This is the proper way to speak French. But maybe not many people understand me. So I will try to avoid.
I will try to learn this.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, we have a few more minutes, and now shall we introduce some French maid to our Hong Kong audience?
The French maid, yeah. So the French maid is here to promote French culture in Hong Kong, but also to exchange with the Hong Kong culture. So there's a lot of events, mostly around the wine, around the food, about the film. So French are really good in the cultural field. So movie-wise, you know, we have a really big local industry, national industry, film industry. So these are the things that we try to promote. I think there's a show right now called Cavalia. I'm not sure it's French though, but it's about horses, the horse show. And horse riding is very popular in France, and it's kind of a sport of excellence that we try to promote. So I think, if you go on the website, lefrenchmaid.com, you'll be able to see many things. All the events.
Well, actually, the French embassy here in Hong Kong has got a lot of exposure. They always sponsor a lot of programs, you don't have to worry that you can't brush up your French in Hong Kong. You can learn it everywhere. Just go to the shop and you'll see almost every brand in fashion is in French.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you put an Eiffel Tower on a product and it sells so easily, right?
Yeah.
But also, there's a lot of resources in Hong Kong to learn French. L'Alliance Française, I think, is in Wan Chai and other places. And also, you know, just tutoring one-to-one is really cheap. Maybe for $150, you can have 1 hour teaching by a local French guy, a native French guy or girl. So there's a lot of ways to really improve your French. Yeah.
Sure. We got a lot of information about French today, but what do you what is your objective, or what would you like to bring to our audience?
I think
through this program,
it'd be very interesting for our audience to really learn more about some things they don't see on TV or in the movies, about the food, about the culture, the small things that you wouldn't see usually, you know. So yeah, food, films, music, fashion, and so on. These are really the things that French are good at, and it'd be good to share with you.
Yeah, and I have to remind all of you that this is the first program in French in Hong Kong internet.
Is it? Okay.
I guess so. Okay. Because I'm not too knowledgeable about the local internet radio programs.
Yeah.
Okay, it is time, and since we are learning French through this in this program, can you tell our audience how to say goodbye in French?
So we can say à bientôt, which means until next time.
À bientôt.
So, à bientôt.
À bientôt. Never heard of that.
Yeah. So à bientôt, everyone.
À bientôt. See you next time.
See you next time.